Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a few plants that I'm purging. That is a kind of common theme that's going around in the industry. I see a lot of people, shrinking their collection. I have a lot of stuff going on with the wedding, and where my collection's at right now, it's a little overwhelming. So we're going to go through pretty much everything that I'm putting up on Etsy. I started an Etsy store. If you guys are interested, you can feel free to go take a peek. I'll link it down below. Don't feel obligated to buy it. I don't know who would do that, but they're going to be down there. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Okay, first there'll probably be some rooted and unrooted cuttings of my philodendron Micans. I have so many just randomly scattered around the place that, they're taking up room and I don't feel like watering them. So this is just one that I have here to show you guys. There should be a few up on the site. This one's looking a little dry, but next up is going to be a few rooted and unrooted cuttings of my Monstera Anthurium mint. Same as the Micans, I just have too many propagations sitting around and I don't want to take care of them anymore. This is probably one of my favorite Anthurium varieties. I really don't. I used to like the plain non-variegated one. It's not really on my list anymore. I lean more towards the obliqua. And I actually have one that I bought at IAS last year that completely died back on me, and I've been able to redo it. So I'm really hopeful that that one grows. But yeah, my mint Anthurium has been a plant that I've had for a while. I think I got it back in 2022. And it was a sprout just about this much, and I've been able to propagate it so many times that I'm ready to let it go because I just have so much of it that I really don't need anymore. So this was sold to me as a philodendron red moon / yellow flame by a seller on Etsy. When I bought it, it had one leaf. This was the stem. You can't really, you can kind of tell. The yellow part was green, and then the brown part was all red. So it was a half and half leaf that was pinkish red variegated and a green leaf. Every single other leaf that came out of this was green. This little prop has a little bit of yellow in it, but that might be just like dying. I don't know. But the newest leaf is straight green. The stem still has some red in it. I don't know if it'll revert back to being variegated, but it's just not sparking joy for me anymore, and I don't feel like keeping it in my collection. Next up on the list is a really disappointing Anthurium for me. This is an Anthurium pendance. I actually bought this from the same seller of that red moon yellow flame. It's never sized up for me. It's always had an issue with my conditions. I've kept it in ambient, I've kept it in high humidity, low humidity, a whole bunch of different things. I had it in a tray of water, so it was just constantly wet. I've let it dry out. I just can't seem to figure this plant out. And plus, as you can see, my cats seem to love this plant. These were leaves. So I just figured it's time to give it a new home. It's not working out for me. I don't want to put the effort in to get it to a point where it's beautiful. Anthurium pendens is one that's definitely gorgeous. It's a little bit more compact, a little bit shorter leaves, but it is another strap leaf. Anthurium, so this is definitely one that I'm sure someone will love. It is currently putting out a new leaf. It's right there. Let's see, right there. So it's still growing. It has some solid roots, and I can actually see one or two new roots in the pot. Plus I overspent on this. This was way too expensive for how big it is. So this is definitely one that I'm ready to let go of. Okay, this one is looking a little bit worse for wear, but I think that's because I've had it out of the cabinet for a little bit. This is an Anthurium Magnificum Bessier AFF that I bought from Lauderdale Aeroid House. They were doing a Palm Street Live, and I got this for $2. So this is definitely not going to be something I price that high, but it is a gorgeous plant. I love the coloration. It's got some really nice venation. It's just not one that I want to grow out. So it's going on the chopping block. That's really it. These next two, I'm a little hesitant to put up for sale, but I mean, if they sell, I won't be that mad. If they don't, I also won't be too mad. It's going to be two of the Hoya that I bought from Plant Haven Toronto. This is a Hoya Croniana Black, and then I also have a Hoya Chicken Farm. When I bought these, I was really in the mindset of, oh, I have so many Anthurium, I really want to expand my Hoya collection. I'm not in that same mindset anymore. I really want to lean in on my Anthurium and maximize their growth so that I can start breeding those and putting seeds out for you guys, because that's something that I'm really, really passionate about now. I just don't have the collection that's mature enough to do that. I would love to be at the point where I can mass produce stuff like that. So these guys are just taking up resources. They're taking up space in my cabinet. If no one, picks them up, I'm not going to be mad because I can grow them out and hopefully get them to flower. But if they do get picked up, I'm not going to be, crazy mad. Next up is the only Woohoo's Tropical Anthurium that I am not in love with. This is a Woohoo's First Night crossed with a Bessier Carla. The only reason that I'm not loving this is because my cat bit off the new emergent, and I don't feel like waiting for this thing to bounce back. I'm sure this is going to be a gorgeous plant just based on the shape and the venation, but again, it's not something that I want to keep in my collection. A few weeks back, I picked up an NXC plant from the Phyto Rot live sale. It was a Carla RA 5x10 Arachne crossed with a Carla RA 6x5. And then I also have the Carla PM2x PM1 that I got from Understory Oasis. So between those two pure Carlas, I feel like that kind of covers me when it comes to Carlas. And I specifically bought this one because I didn't have any Carla. And then those two kind of fell in my lap as far as price-wise. So I'm comfortable, dropping this plant and growing those two out to maximize their ability, their look, and not really keying in on this. Next up on the chopping block is my Anthurium crystallinum crossed with the Ningerlinum gigi. This was my second Anthurium I ever bought. This was the second Steve's Leaves plant I ever bought. So this one holds, a special place in my heart. There are just other Anthurium that I've picked up in the recent past that hold a, higher place just because of how they look. I love the shape of this Anthurium. What I don't love is the lack of venation. I feel like this is a little on the ordinary side. It doesn't really stand out in my collection. And again, same as the Hoya, if this gets picked up, I won't be upset. But if it stays in my collection, I also won't be upset either. It's finally starting to size up. The last leaf it put out was really funky. So, I mean, ideally, if it continues to grow and it looks more like an SP Napo, where it's really long, I would love that. But I don't think this will look like an SP Napo. It is spitting out. It looks like maybe a new leaf. It's not at cataphyll yet. Yeah, it's got a new leaf in there. It's not at cataphyll yet, but this one is one of my more mature Anthurium, so it's definitely going to be there pretty soon. It's just one that, it's taking up space and it's taking resources, and if it gets sold, I'm cool with that. If it's not, I'm cool with that too. Up next is my Fuetti Ace of Spades crossed with the Magnificum. This one is also from Steve's Leaves. It's also one of the first plants, Anthurium that I bought. The only reason that this is on the chopping block is because it's too similar to some of the other plants that I have, and it's not sizing up as fast as some of those other ones. For example, my Magnificum Ace of Spades, this was the first Anthurium I bought. Yeah, Mag Ace. Also from Steve's Leaves. She had a leaf coming out, but it actually split itself in half and died. That's what this is. So I'm hoping that she spits a leaf out again. I do need to water this. Frick. Yeah, I really need to water this. But I mean, as you can see, they have their differences, but the coloring and the venation is not exact, but it's relatively similar. And also, I mean, This is the most recent leaf on the Woohoo. Let's do this. And this is the most recent leaf on the Magnificum Ace. It's obviously the Magnificum that's in this plant. That's the mother plant. So, that's why it's sizing up so large. I can't even fit the face in the screen. The Mag Ace just excites me so much more. The Fuetti Ace Woohoo, it's exciting in the sense that it's a very beautiful plant, but I think it has some sort of maybe fungal or maybe, just some sort of issue going on, hence the spotting that's going on with its leaves. And also it's just not sizing up at the speed that I want it to. So, I'm comfortable with this one leaving my collection. I did also just recently pick this up. Check that out. That's the most recent leaf. This is the most recent new emergent, and this is the oldest leaf that it has. Now this is one of my ideal Anthurium. It's a Tazula red crystal crossed with a Gardens pap. I bought it from Woohoo's Tropicals. It was an impulse buy on a Palm Street, which is why I deleted Palm Street. This was an import plant from Midnight Gardens, which I'm pretty sure is part of Hoffmanii in Australia. I might not be wrong. I might be wrong with that. Not 100% sure, but it's a Midnight Gardens plant, and that's very exciting to me. This is definitely something I would love to size up. It is still a little stiff because I got it yesterday in the mail. I do have to address this pot. I want to get a better mix in here. It looks like the roots could use a little bit more air, in the sense of some perlite, and they could use some leca. But once I get this up potted, I'm gonna key in on this the most. I'm really excited. Just the dark color, the very slim venation, and limited secondary veining, and also look at that emergent color. That's just a bright burgundy. That is so nice. This is going to be, I can tell, an Anthurium that I keep in my collection for as long as I'm keeping plants. The last in this list of purge plants is one that I may hold off on depending on how the top cut goes. If you watched the last video, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's the butt cut to my Carlaza one from Rousseau Plant Care. I cut this one impulsively a few weeks back. It does look like there's new root growth. I actually didn't notice that. And there is an active growth point on the butt cut. The top cut also has an active growth point. It is trying to spit out a new leaf. So I want to baby each of these to make sure they're growing. This one may be a holdback in the sense of I sell the top cut and keep this one. It may be vice versa, depending on what happens. This was my first, big purchase when it came to Anthurium. So it's one that holds a special spot in my heart. I love the almond shape that the leaves get, as well as that venation, and the color of the emergent is a nice bright red, bright orange. If you remember a few videos back, it may have been my favorites video, but the Carlaza was spitting out a new leaf, and it was a beautiful color. So if you haven't checked that out, I would definitely recommend going and looking back at that video. I pulled the Tazula Red Crystal Gardens pap back into frame just because of how beautiful it is. I really can't get over the fact that this is my plant now. I'm so happy with this purchase, and I'm glad that it was my last for at least a little while. I deleted Palm Street, as I mentioned earlier, specifically because, I gotta save for the wedding that we have coming up. Alexa and I are getting married in March, so that's T-minus 180 days almost. Ideally, I won't buy any plants until summer of next year. That should give me enough time to really focus on what I have and slim that collection down a lot to make sure I can maximize the growth. I mean, if this puts out an inflorescence anytime soon, you better bet that I will be collecting that pollen and trying to cross that with my jungle lux. I would love this with a little bit of that luxuriance, belateness. But we'll see. That would be coming up in the future. If you're new, I would love it if you subscribed. I tend to, try to get videos out every Wednesday or Thursday. This is an off week for me. But, like I said, I try to get videos out every Wednesday. So if you're new, I would love it if you subscribe. That would help me out a lot. Go ahead and comment any plants that you feel like might be causing you some anxiety, or, we can have a conversation about that down below. I know for certain that my collection is getting to a point where it's overwhelming for me. It's really struggle. It's a struggle to get everybody watered on time. So, if you're going through something similar, feel free to share that below. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys about that. Thanks again for watching. Bye.